right, we were back. It was awesome to talk to Eric about some of the sessions he is doing, and we are continuing to move forward here with our FETC preview to get ready in a few short weeks. I'm super excited to get back to Orlando. It's been 2 years. Last year we were in New Orleans, so I'm looking forward to that and meeting so many great people. I am Matthew Joseph. I am your host. I am the Assistant Superintendent in New Bedford Public Schools, and I'm excited to be bringing you some of these amazing speakers, and we'll be live also at Orlando podcasting on the floor and talking about making those connections. I made a connection early on in my EdTech journey, moving from principal into an EdTech leader, was Phil Hintz. And this, I just realized, is the first time you've been on the Stronger Together podcast as a solo guest. You've popped in 100 times, but this is the first time we've had you on to showcase some of your great work.
Yes. Well, I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course. So for those out there who don't know the great work that you do, tell us a little bit about your day job. What do you do in the field?
Well, I am currently the CTO for Niles Township School District outside of Chicago. District 219, because we go by numbers here in Illinois. And I've got a new role. It's a new position for me. I'm 6 months in now, but very excited to make a difference. And it's a high school district, so it's only 9th through 12th grade.
Interesting.
We have two high school campuses, about 5,000 students total, and just a wonderful opportunity to make a difference and be able to prepare our next workforce, basically. So.
Awesome. So what is your path to get there? So this year you're in a high school district. What are some of your journey to get where you are?
Sure. Yeah. Well, this is actually my 30th year in education. I started back in 1992. As a band director. I was a music teacher. So that's my trade, musician.
What's your instrument of choice?
My first passion. My instrument of choice, my specialty is low brass. So trombone, I was a tuba major as far as symphonic band, but then a trombonist for jazz ensemble. So that's where I live, down in the bass section there.
Gotcha. And how did you get into the EdTech space from there?
That's kind of crazy, but I've always used technology in my teaching back in the early days, with Apple IIe's and moving into utilizing it in music. There's a lot of technology that's actually used in music, just whether it's a tuner or a metronome that you're using, but we would use that, and that just as technology progressed, more and more of that became available. 97, I decided to go back and get my master's degree in educational, at that time, educational leadership, to become a principal.
Mm-hmm.
So I was down that path, and I got my master's in education, in educational administration. And then with that, right after I finished that program was about the same time internet was entering schools.
Okay. Yeah.
So there you go. And so they had a brand new program this is at the University of Texas. They had a brand new program called the degree program for Masters in Educational Technology. And since I had a majority of the courses already done because of the administration pathway, I just had to take the tech stuff. And so I did that, and got a second master's in educational technology. So that put me down the path. I was fully ready to become a principal, but then more opportunities opened up to become an educational technology or a director of technology for school district. And I've been doing that pretty much ever since. So awesome. in various roles.
Yeah, and I know from being friends, you're continuing that journey. So, what is your next kind of big hurdle you're going for in this tech space?
Yeah, I definitely consider myself a lifelong learner. I mean, there's no doubt about that. I really love learning and learning new things and technology. That's every single day, especially with AI now. But and so almost 3 years ago, I started my doctoral program. Finally had an opportunity to after during COVID. I started that because that was when things kind of slowed down a little bit in some ways. sped up in other ways, but
Right, exactly.
in some ways I was able to finally make the time to go back to school. And so I have all my coursework done now for my doctoral program. I just have to write that dissertation, and
All right.
I've got 2 chapters of the 5 chapters you got to get done. But now I've really got to dig into the actual meat of it, the research of it. So
Awesome. So now we're shifting gears to FETC because you have a few sessions on Wednesday and Friday talking
yeah,
about really diving into what it sounds like you were just talking about to the augmented and virtual reality,
mhm,
and AI shaping the future of education and the IT garden, growing great CTO. So they're a little bit different, but I'd
yeah.
love to hear a little bit about what people could expect from those sessions when they look through the whole menu of everything.
Sure. Well, the very first one that you listed there, that's my doctoral research right there. That
Mhm.
is my current passion in technology. I usually tell people I have 2 passions in my life that really make Phil Hintz tick. That's music and technology. So those 2 things kind of go hand in hand. But when it turned out augmented reality (AR) and virtual reality (VR), and as they're calling it now, XR for extended reality,
Oh, that's
um,
neat.
and MR is another one, mixed reality. So actually part of my doctoral research is talking about the continuum from augmented reality, where you have um, basically a phone or an iPad, and you have a camera, and you use that piece of technology to augment reality. So when you look at when you use augmented reality software with a phone or iPad that has a camera, you're looking at reality, but you're adding to it that only the technology can add to it. So you're augmenting it. But then there's a continuum that eventually takes you to kind of a mixed reality, where you eventually end up in virtual reality, where everything around you is virtually or computer generated. Augmented reality, you have still some reality left with a little bit of computer generation in it. Virtual is completely all in,
Mhm.
completely generated. And my doctoral research really goes back to actually my son, who is 20 years old and has Down syndrome. My research is in the impact of augmented reality and virtual reality in with students with intellectual disabilities in learning life and occupational skills. So
Okay.
that's what I'm studying, how that can impact and make a difference for people who have intellectual disabilities, and what advantages can those technologies bring to them in becoming more included in the world. And that's kind of where the title comes from, the inclusive
Yeah, yeah,
aspect
I
of
like
it.
it.
Yeah. So
Awesome. And then you're doing some work on what does growing great CTOs take? What's it take to be a great
that's a
CTO?
good question. Well, it takes a network. It takes a network of knowing people. It's impossible to know everything about educational technology or to be able to lead, a technology department in a school district,
Mhm.
because at this point in time, as opposed to when I started my master's in it, over 20 years ago, at this point in time, technology is absolutely everywhere. It's ubiquitous across the district. It's in every area. And it's really impossible to know all of that and to be able to manage it. You have to know a little bit. You have to be kind of a jack of all trades and
Mhm.
hopefully a master at a couple of them. But to network and to know, things that I know, somebody else, the tech director in the next district over may not know. But there are things that they know that I, need some help with, and they have
Sure.
expertise in. And so, part of growing that is growing your network and growing your ability to learn from others. And I've been doing that for, like I said, for 20 some years now, in that role. And with COSIN, the Consortium of School Networking, I'm actually involved with a program for the last couple of years, where it's the Early CTO Academy. Cheryl Abshire and Donna Williamson, that's their brainchild that they put together, and they have now offered this academy for several years. And they asked if I would be a part of it to offer some of my expertise in there. And so it's a 1-year program that that people who are thinking about becoming a CTO or going into becoming a director or administration in technology can go attend that academy through a year-long cohort and learn a number of things, all the topics that a CTO is going to touch upon in their yearly and daily and monthly lives. So that's what we're going to talk about in that session is how to get involved in that academy, and what you can get out of it. There's actually a year-long project that the people who participate in there it's a capstone project that they'll do, and then there's mentorships and partnering. So I have a couple of people that I am mentoring in that process that are either thinking about the position or they are brand new in the position. They've kind of been forced into that position. So I help with that, and so do a number of other thought leaders that are from around the country, really, that are involved in the program. So we'll talk about that, what it takes to grow a CTO, because we have to start thinking about the next generation. I'm a couple of years away from retirement, so it's time that I bring the new blood into the system.
Awesome. So if you are there, make sure to check it out. We have one session on Wednesday, enhancing student engagement, really focusing in on the AR, VR from Phil's research. And then on Friday, 2 sessions, really shifting from the AI then into the CTO piece of this. So make sure to check both of those out. So Wednesday looks like you have an open schedule. I always am interested in what people look to get out of SVTs too. So you're putting in, you're sharing your knowledge, your expertise. These larger events, what do you go in hoping to get out of it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always, I will be there looking for information on my research, looking for experts in AR and VR, which there will be several folks there. I can name Jamie Donnelly, who I know you've had as a guest in the past. I really look to her. I respect her work so much, and she is really, I think, the probably one of the foremost thought leaders. Her and Mary Alice Curran, that's another one I know you've had on. They are just phenomenal, brilliant people that I look to learn from, and I know they'll be presenting, so I will be looking for their sessions to grab a few nuggets. Every time I'm with Jamie, I learn something new without fail. So I'll promote them, obviously, but I learned so much from them. Rochelle Poth, she's another one. She's just amazing, and I learned from them as well. But I also look for new technologies. So I'll go around the floor, and I think you're doing or somebody's doing a tour of the floor at different times.
Oh, that's awesome! It's not me, because I get lost. So
I think Adam Bello might be leading a tour around the floor at one point, and a couple other folks are. But so that would be something that if people are brand new to FETC, they're going to want to do that and take advantage of that. But I look around at the new products and see what's out there, and there again, it's on my research. I'm going to start with those type of topics, but I'm looking for all kinds of new tools that are possible that I might be able to bring back to my teachers and say, hey, have you thought about this? And could you use something like this in your class? What difference would this piece of technology make in a student's life? So I'm looking for that. And so then networking as well.
Networking is huge. Yeah. Connecting, grabbing some food and meeting people as well. So for our first timers, what would be some suggestions that you have as a veteran attendee for our first time attendees? What are some things that they must do before either they get there or while they're there?
Yeah, well, definitely. I mean, now's the time to start planning if you haven't already, kind of planning your schedule, looking at the schedule and checking off some places you want to be each day. I would say purposely do not fill your entire schedule. You could go back to back to back workshops or sessions and events, but don't do that, because that doesn't leave time for talking the meeting after the meeting type of thing. You want to have some time where you can maybe even pull one of the presenters aside and bend their ear even more about a topic that you're learning. So don't go back to back. Don't be that person that goes to the buffet and has to put everything on their plate. But there's that, and then the for first timers, have a plan. I mean, that's where I'm going with this is really have a plan of what you want to see, and build in the time with the vendors, because you want to see what's out there and what just what I said I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be checking things out, build that time in there. But then there's also social events too that are possible. So try to make sure you build that time. That's after a lot of times when the showroom closes or the vendor floor closes, when the workshops are over in the evening, there's a couple of opportunities there. A lot of the vendors will be putting on different things, evening things, and that's the time where you can network and get to know some folks, or reconnect with some folks. People that you've met through Twitter or X, whatever you're calling it now. That you've met, but you've never met them in real life, and all of a sudden now they're there in real life, and you get to actually make the connection and then strengthen that connection. Kind of you're stronger together there. So.
There you go. Well, that's a great the wrap up. And so for those of you who don't follow Phil, make sure to check out Phil on X. His Twitter handle or X handle is there. And if you want to make sure to catch one of his sessions, check him off on Wednesday and Friday as well. And as he said, he'll be bopping around the event. Stop him, say hi, learn about AR, VR, and everything else that Phil Hintz can bring to you a wealth of knowledge. So, Phil, thank you for being your first time. They say you always remember your first time. So thanks for making this memorable for me and Stronger Together. And for those watching at home, we're going to be on all the way up to FETC, and then we're going to be live in Orlando as well. So, Phil, great to have you on. Look forward to connecting, as we always do, at these wonderful events.
Yeah, looking forward to it as well. Thanks.
All right, everybody, be safe. Tune in tomorrow. We have a couple more evening sessions tomorrow, or evening interviews, and continue to learn about these awesome sessions you're going to get to be a part of in Orlando.